Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice. Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss, a VO boss. Set yourself up with business owner strategies and success with your host, Ganguzza, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry. Rock your business like a boss, a VO boss.
Gabby, the degree you have always wanted, we've got it at voboss.com.
Go to voboss.com and click on the graduate tab. This is advanced level service, advanced level attention for voice actors. It includes things like the Boss Booster Pro, which is private learning. This is me and Anne together, combined, boss powers unite to tackle your toughest marketing and business problems.
Boost your business into the stratosphere with the Boss Booster Pro. And now, Gabby, let's go back to the show. Welcome, everybody, to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Anne Ganguzza, along with my gorgeous bestie, Gabby Nistico.
Hi.
Hey, Gabby.
Hello. So, we like to take inspiration for our podcast from our friends and family in voiceover. And Diana Conley, who is your vivacious assistant.
That she is. She
posted something really great to Facebook the other day, and it immediately caught my eye, and I was like, ooh, I think we need to talk about this. So I'll read this post real quick. I'm gonna abridge it a little bit. She said, "Why are we always told not to care what other people think about us or not to care if other people like us? I think other people having a good opinion of me is one of the most important things in my life. I don't change myself for others or act fake towards others or tame my exuberance. I have a strong sense of self and love myself, but you're damn right I care what others think of me. I care that people like me. This is critical to my success as a person, both professionally and personally. On a personal level, in VO, I care that others can count on me making deadlines. I care if casting directors like my auditions." And she goes on to talk about this both professionally and personally. And I was like, what a phenomenal point.
So many wonderful things in there. Diana, thanks for that post. What a great post. So many things to talk about. I'm right there with her. People are always saying, don't worry about what others think of you. And I think that there's levels to that. I am one of the biggest people pleasers I know. And I know that about myself, right? I want everybody to like me. And, it's kind of been that way all my life. I've always been kind of like, well, I want them to say good things about me. Even like now, I for all of my life, I don't know if this is just me, but like, I want my parents to be proud of me. Like, and I'm like,
Aww.
I'm in my 50s now. You know what I mean? And it's like, I always was like, I want you to be proud of me. But there are some pros and cons to that. When you become too hard on yourself, when you're not pleasing everybody, and then you realize that you can't possibly please everybody.
I would be a massive lying sack of crap if I told you that I didn't care what other people think of me.
Yeah.
A lot of my stress in my life and a lot of worry and a lot of anxiety has been induced by what other people think.
Yeah.
I have specific parameters, I guess, in my life of what things I deem important and what I don't, so that I do have a little bit of balance. There's a whole large quadrant of things that I don't care. And that's why I tend to still be as unconventional as I am. Yeah, I don't care what people think of my look, my hair color, my clothes, my physical appearance. No, I don't care. Not really an issue. But at the same time, I care what people think of my character. I care what people think of my motives. I care what people think about my core being. Because I'd like to think that my heart is in the right place and that, I'm doing things from a place of good intention and love. And so if that's misconstrued, it's painful.
Yeah. Well, I think, Gabby, it comes down to, isn't there the inherent need that we all have or want that we all have? We just all want to be loved. Maybe it stems from that. We want people to like us. And sometimes I think that is carried to an extreme where it can then start to affect your own health, your own mental health, your own happiness, in terms of you're just overly critical of yourself. And I know that I've gone through my life in varying phases of that, trying to do things to make people like me, and then realizing maybe I don't need to go that far, to get people to like me. And I think it's just a lifelong lesson that we learn. And I think as we get older and maybe get more experienced, we start to find those fences where I don't care what others think about, let's say, what I'm wearing or my hair color. And that's a hard one, that's a real hard one for a lot of people. I mean, I still fight it every day. I want to look good, and if I feel like I don't, then my whole inner being can be filled with doubt and things that are not making me happy.
I think there is a difference between caring about another person's opinion, which can be theirs and theirs alone, versus the perception of how large groups of people see you. One of the greatest pieces of advice I was ever given was, it's none of your business what other people think of you. At any given time or moment, we can all be catty or gossipy or mean, but the part about character, that part of like perceptions, how am I viewed by society, by my peers, by my industry, that's pretty important to us. And I think that entrepreneurs especially get really wrapped up in that piece.
When it comes to your character and how people assess where you come from, I think that to me, I care about. Like, I want people to be able to see that my intentions are coming from a place of love and a place of good, and not other avenues that might be misconstrued. I think that is important, that I'm portraying myself that way, and that every intention that I have usually is transparent, and I hope is good. And if it's not, well then, I guess that's another podcast episode. Yeah, I mean, I think what Diana was saying is that I do care because I think it keeps her in check. And I have to agree with that, in terms of working professionally for someone else. Of course, I want to do a good job for them. I want to do a good job for my clients. And therefore, I do care about what they think. And I want to work on maybe not so much the fact that it upsets me if they don't like me, but I want to work on providing a good service. And that's what I care about, is I'm providing a good service for my clients, and that my intentions, my creative art is coming from a good place.
Well, it goes back to something that I've heard you say many, many times. People buy from those they know, like, and trust. You can't negate that like part.
True.
I think that's a big part of what Diana's saying there as well. Of course we have to be concerned about that. Who wants to buy from someone they don't like? A lot of you know this, right? I have my rock and gem and mineral hobby. This is really funny. There's a gem show that I go to every single year that has a lot of the same vendors year after year after year. And there's this one particular gentleman who, my very first ever encounter with him was horrible. He was just mean and icky, and it was just a really, really bad experience. And so now, every time we go to that show, every time we see him or we pass his booth, we go, oh, it's the Opal Douche. And we keep on going. Because we will never buy from the Opal Douche. I don't care how amazing his stuff might be. I will never spend money with him.
You make a good point. I think personal and professional, right? We want to deal with people that we know and we like and we trust. Now, maybe Mr. Opal was having
Opal Douche. Go ahead, say it.
So maybe Mr. Opal D was having a bad day when he encountered you. And maybe. And there's where I think it's important, right? So when you are forward-facing to your clients or interacting with people in general, right, I think you should always keep yourself not necessarily in check, but I think you should be conscious of your intentions, especially in terms of clients. If your intention is to serve the client and they're not, being ridiculous or mean, that is an important thing to always just moving forward, being conscious of that, being conscious of how you are serving your client. And again, maybe he was having a bad day, but look what it did, right? He'll never get your business.
And one of the reasons why I've always said, don't pick up the phone if you're not in the mood.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, we do that a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I will sometimes let a call go to voicemail just because I know, like, whatever's
Yeah.
up with me, I'm not in a good headspace
Oh, I get
to
that.
make a first impression.
I get that. I'm going to go one step further and say, if you can do it, try not to step in the booth when you're not in the frame of mind of, you know what I mean? I know that I have gotten in the booth. And for me, I do a lot, as we know, I do a ton of narration. It does affect me. That, that inner core, that being, if I'm agitated or annoyed, it can definitely, absolutely affect my performance. So I always try to go into my Zen mode as I enter into the booth to perform and to, do my stuff.
I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to, guys, is of course we care what other people think. We all care what other people think. To try for even a second to convince ourselves that we don't is kind of pointless.
Yeah.
We need other people for so many different reasons in our lives and in our businesses that, yes, we're always going to have some concern, some thought about how people see us and view us. And that plays a role in every business owner's day. So you're not alone. Now, should it be monopolizing huge chunks of your life?
Exactly. No. I always say, try to go, like, how is it making you feel, right?
Yeah.
If you're fighting every day, it's kind of like, Gabby, when I was at the tail end of my last job, and it was like, when you go into work every day, do you have that knot in your stomach, or do you...
Oh my God, I'm going to sit in the car for 30 more seconds. I just don't want to go in. Oh, God.
When that happens, when dealing with people or clients, I think it behooves you to step back and assess if that relationship is indeed serving you in a positive manner.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah. So maybe Mr. Opal, right, was not in a good frame of mind that day for dealing with people. And again, if you can avoid putting that out there, I think whether you're in the booth, whether you're dealing with somebody on the phone, whether you're dealing with a client, sometimes you can't help it. And so therein lies the challenge, right? Sometimes you do have to deal with people and you have to deal with clients.
And sometimes you can help it and you just can't help yourself, right? That's the social media piece.
Isn't that true?
Like,
yes.
Just stop. Just shut up. Like
walk away. Walk
Censor.
away. It's so. I think sometimes it's harder to walk away, Gabby. I mean, there are some times I'll see conversations happening, and I'm like, biting my lip, or and as anybody that's worked with me knows that I can't type anyways. Thankfully, that comes into. Like, that actually helps me because I'm not as fast of a typer as I want to be. And that's kind of a good thing because sometimes I'll want to type a response and I'll be like, nope, and gotta get up and walk away. Again, that's going to be
rocks.
Yeah. I go play with a rock.
I'm like,
yeah.
I
go
just need
pet
a
my
minute.
kitties and play with the kitties. And so, yeah. Diana, wow, just the plethora of wisdom in that post. Just at times be careful of caring too much. And when it gets to that point where you care too much about what a particular person or client thinks, then maybe I think it's time to step back and reassess whether that relationship is worth it for you.
Yes. Then you can start an exploration into a lovely thing called cognitive behavioral therapy.
Ah, there you go.
CBT is the key. CBT really is the key to understanding that pattern in your life and how do I break out of it. Very
Absolutely.
effective.
Whew,
Thanks,
stuff.
Diana.
So guys, yeah, go forth with good intentions and
care what others think. Just not too much.
There you go. Big shout out to people I do care about, those people at IPDTL, for an amazing connection. And you too can find out more at ipdtl.com.
For all things boss in your life, you have all the social media platforms, but our epic website awaits you at voboss.com. And there you can find so many cool ways to engage with the bosses. And if you haven't done it yet, go to our shop tab and check out some of our merchandise, the t-shirts, the underwear.
Underwear.
Like, we have some fantastic stuff.
Gabby, we have underwear.
I love them. I have them on right now.
Bye, guys. Have a great week. See you next week.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your host, Ann Ganguzza and Gabby Nisterko. All rights reserved. And Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.
My tongue is wearing a fur coat. Do you ever get that?
Have you been eating sugary things?
No, it's just really dry in my house. The fur coat is not from sugar. The fur coat on your teeth is from sugar. But the fur coat on your tongue...
Mine's from coffee.
Well, yeah, okay, I'm drinking coffee too. So anyway, I slept really well and I'm sure I had my mouth open. So all of that in combination with the coffee and being first thing in the morning is making my tongue have a fur coat. It's such a visual, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Sexy.
Welcome, everybody, to the VO Boss podcast. I didn't like that.
So many people who come to you and want to do a corporate narration demo. Hold on. Shut up. It's just Shelly. Shut the up. Just shut up. Control yourself. Get your together, dog. Just shut it.
Hit the record
And rolling.
button.
And rolling.
Rolling. Oh, we are rolling. Oh, I almost rolled my R. I can't roll my R. Roll. I can only honker. Like. Welcome, everybody, to the VO Boss podcast.
The hell just happened to you?
I don't know. I just got weird.
Oh, boy.
Welcome. I don't care what I look like, or I don't care if you... Well, not... I do care what I look like. Wait, let me back up. You're going to edit that out. I am probably 10 fingers away.
You want to get closer if you can.
Like,
yeah.
How close do you want me to get? This close?
Yeah.
Okay. That's uncomfortable.
Oh.
I could use an outtake.
Oh, my God. I could use an outtake.
Sorry. I could use an outtake after my last couple of days. Holy crap.
Oh, my God.
Oy.
I was just up in Carolina just a couple weeks ago. I was at Myrtle Beach for the first time ever.
Oh, yeah? How'd that go?
Lots of fun stuff.
I'd never been
there.
to a place that had so many pancake houses in my entire life. Every other restaurant was a pancake house.
A pancake house or a buffet of some sort.
An all-you-can-eat
Myrtle-
seafood buffet. Oh, and that brief time I was a wandering transvestite.
Yes,
But,
you can talk about that as well and how that affected your VO career.
Yeah, that if you work that in.
Yeah, those auditions had to be a bitch. So tell me about your time as Frankfurter. I'm fascinated.
I was young and I needed the money.
You were paying your way for voiceover coaching lessons.
That's right.
That's it. So I may screw up, but,
We love you anyway.
thank you.
You're blonde.
Thank
We
you.
expect
Thank
it.
you. Good. Gabby, I hope you're recording because we're getting all sorts of
I am.
wonderful outtakes.
Hi, Gabby.
Hi.
So tell me about yourself.
Well, I like long walks on the beach and poking dead things with sticks.
Well, and who doesn't, really?
We are We are boss blasting it, skyrocketing. Wait, no. We
Booster.
are boss boosting this right outside of this universe. Damn it. We are boss.
You have no idea what the we're saying.
We're blasting. We're blasting this booster. We are blasting outside of this universe. Boss booster, projectile your business.
Up and away.
Projectile vomit your business out
No.
into the no. 2 boss brains are better than 1.
They're fried, so we
I
sound
know.
like idiots.
I know.
Cool.
And now, Gabby, let's blast off into the show. No.
That's adorable.
Oh, and now, Gabby, let's blast off into our show. No, that doesn't make sense. Blast off into? What do we mean, blast off to the show?
To.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Gabby, so let's blast off to the show now.